everyone. I'm Bumanlag, and welcome back to another edition of Ask an Expert. This is the show where I dive into the folks that I work with in the real estate realm when it comes to home renovations and more to get you the best possible advice and to get to know some of the best people doing what they do best in Windsor, Essex. You know, often it can be really frustrating for you as a homeowner to evaluate the design for your kitchen or bathroom, plumbing, or even other projects without the help of a seasoned pro. By hiring my guest tonight, they can provide you with the tools to make decisions without sales tactics and pressure, and more importantly, the customer service throughout the entire project and beyond to make sure the entire process is really easy and less stressful. These guys take pride in turning your wants and needs into the dream bathroom or kitchen of your dreams. Here's a chat with some of my preferred partners, Jeremy and Richard from Projects and Bath by Design.
I've been in the industry since 1986. I morphed from audio into the construction business, first of all, because I had a love for it. But at that particular time, Tecumseh was booming, and the area was just growing, and it led me into, learning about plumbing, and from there it morphed into the kitchen business. In 2021, during the pandemic, my son Jeremy here, we started talking about the need for this city to have somewhere to go other than big box to get service for not only kitchens but primarily for plumbing, for contractors and their customers, and to be provided service 24/7 instead of not having an answer at 5:01 because everyone's gone home. So it's primarily, my whole career has been based on, even back in the days where I was at Muntz Electronics doing audio as service. One of my mentors, Eric Naylor from Naylor's, said, the first rule is the customer is always right. The second rule is refer to the first rule. So, I've tried, Jeremy has an extensive, he has an education and customer service experience. So he brings that and his technology experience to the table. And I bring my customer service in terms of, 37 years of construction business. And I didn't know he was so creative. And, it's a blessing for father and son to work together.
Yeah, I was going to say that's pretty awesome, Jeremy, to have the experience. And as I got to know your dad through this process of sort of collaborating with each other, and it goes beyond that too, I think, with you guys. I think it's sort of a working relationship. And I want to talk a little bit about that too. And it's something I think you don't lend your brand to, Jeremy, lightly. And the table turned on me. I don't lend my brand lightly. I have a lot of people who message me on Facebook and they say, and that's my main primary social media platform, but they say, "Oh, are these people good?" And I say they're not too good, they're great, and they care. And I think that's a big part of it too when it comes to collaborating with folks and having that sort of quote unquote, I know a guy. Right. I know a guy that can do this and I know somebody who's going to follow through. But coming on board with your dad, tell me a bit about, your experience and working with dad too. It must be pretty cool to kind of, learn the ropes and do what you do and then infuse that technology with it as well.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. So I was lucky enough that I went to college for business human resources. And believe it or not, usually people say you don't take much from school, but a lot of it that I'm doing now, a lot of it's learned from when I was at St. Clair College, especially a lot of the online skills, right? And then obviously I was kind of just working regular jobs between then. But once I started my own business, a cleaning business a couple of years ago, it kind of made those skills I had to use them again. I had to pull them out. So I was really able to hone in on the online portion, the marketing, getting on Google and all those type of things of kind of starting a business. I was able to kind of bring that to my dad, which was he pretty much has every skill there is, except maybe that was like maybe the slight one he was lacking, right? So I brought that to the table and was essentially able to like fill a gap, I guess you could say, right? And with his experience, experience being the best teacher, combined with, I guess a new age approach that I bring, we've been able to work really, really well together.
And kudos to you, because before we start getting into the whole renovation thing here on Ask an Expert, and talking about some of our experiences so far together, working together as a real estate, I don't want to say team, but partnership with Ron Deno and I, and certainly what you guys do in the bathroom and kitchen renovation side of things too. I got to give a shout out to you for having, I'm going to say this right now, and this is why I love having a podcast, kick-ass website. You know, website that, and like I kind of shake my fist at you guys too, because my wife Carrie is just constantly on there, and she's looking at different fixtures and looking at different things, and she's like saying to this stuff to me at like 11 o'clock at night. We'll be laying there watching TV. What about this? What do you like about this? And I'm like, really? I'm like, thank you, Richard and Jeremy, for constantly having me to look at different fixtures. I mean, it's good to have that accessibility though, but the website and the ability to order and then come into the showroom, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, exactly. That was my biggest thing, was building an online store. I probably spent 8 to 10 months working on it. It was a really, really long process. Basically, I had a lot of skills from school, but it was almost all self-taught. Like I had to watch a lot of videos. I had to reach out to a lot of different experts when it comes to like SEO and building a website and how to do the proper formatting, when you're building on Wix or whatever platform you're using. So it was definitely very rewarding, I would say, once it was done, because I put my all into it. I was working on that website in the online store morning to night. I was getting home from work. I was working on it till 10, 11 o'clock at night. So really, it was a passion project. So I really put my heart and soul into it. So I'm glad someone's, using it. I just hope you're not losing too much sleep.
No, it's good. It's good. It's about that selection process too, right? I mean, and I shake my fist in a good way to shows like HGTV, because I think it allows people to see, how fun it can be to do these home renovations, but how painstakingly you, organized you have to be. And I think that's kudos to your dad and you specifically. And before we get into kind of what we're doing and working with some fantastic vendors and people into this too, I want to plug your showroom too, because we did take some social media stuff at the showroom when we've gone in multiple times. It's a beautiful locations on Erie Street. For a point of reference for folks who may want to stop on by appointment or even checking out the website, definitely want to see it. It's right behind Windsor Eats. And located there on a section of Erie Street, which is fantastic. But you take a look at the showroom and you take a look at some of the options that go into this kind of stuff, Richard, and it's like, it really is fun, but there are so many options. And that's why I think when you have experts like yourself, it's so crucial to have somebody kind of walk you through industry trends and what's possible for your space, because you might be not in that kind of mindset to kind of say, okay, well, is this doable? Can I do this? Or what colors go with this?
Yeah, it can be very daunting for somebody. I always say this is what I do for a living, and I don't pretend to know anything about real estate. So I rely on whoever I'm dealing with for their expertise based on the questions that I need answered. And then the same thing with a homeowner. When we walk in, our job is to guide them, not tell them what to do, answer their questions and give them options and allow them to make decisions based on their family needs, right? Beauty is always in the eye of the beholder. And that's the big thing when it comes to renovations. You learn very quickly that you're the biggest skill that you can apply to any situation working with somebody is to listen to them. Just that's all people need to have, is just be, listen to what they're thinking, what they've talked about. Often we'll go in to do a renovation, and on the customer's end, that may be been years in the making, not just, a week ago when they called us. So they put a lot of time and effort into thinking about it. So often we're taking what their they're thinking about what they're hoping to achieve, and kind of guiding the whole process. I always kid around that you're glad to see us come, but you're also glad to see us go.
Because it's a process, right? And I want to talk
Yes.
about that a bit. It's a good process, but it is a process, and I'm very blessed and honored to work with Richard and Jeremy. I mean, from a real estate side, we've had some really great success with some of my clients looking to do some extensive renovations, and then Richard and Jeremy literally being available to answer questions. I think it was like Sunday night at 8 o'clock when
Yeah.
when you guys called.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Right. And it was great because it's like, I put them on speakerphone, and my clients are in this basement of this beautiful home. And, the caveat for them was another bathroom in the basement. So Richard, not seeing it, and Jeremy not seeing it, but then booking an appointment, booking another showing literally right then and there on the spot. I think that goes miles with the customer. I know we got off the phone, like, oh my God, they sound so nice. I'm like, and they do amazing work too. So being accessible for them is so crucial. But, going through the bathroom renovation process, that's part of what we're doing in the basement, and then our social media series and things that we're kind of illuminating local people like yourself about, I guess, the ins and outs of what makes a great renovation a great renovation. I know this project that is something that you've been working with my wife on frequently, Richard, to kind of get this off the ground. And there's a lot of things that people need to know when you're doing a renovation project, like a bathroom, like the one that we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. All the planning in the world can go into a particular project, but if you don't have the people involved that have the same vision in terms of quality and customer expectations and meeting those expectations, a project can get lost pretty quickly. So it's important that the materials that go into any project are what the customer and what we expect, but also the labor component too as well. It is, in today's world, for many years, we've been doing white kitchens. Now, when it comes to doing the trim and all the furniture-based Tokek moldings, you need the best in order to bring that together, as far as when you look at it and not see putty marks and such forth. So we're blessed that we have a long relationship with a lot of trades. And we have all that history, because without it, we wouldn't be able to function as a business.
And we've got that fantastic lifeline. I know there's something that you have been talking to Carrie and I about. So if you want to follow along too, they've got a really great website. We've talked about that. They've got some great social media, and they're working with us on our big sort of local HGTV project on social media too, our basement renovation project. But there's a word that has been kind of buzzing around between the contractors, you, me, Carrie, my wife, and it's weedy. And, we're looking at doing this. This is going to be pretty neat. For those people who are considering a bathroom renovation, or maybe looking at doing a project, or even starting a portion of a project, what is weedy? And I know you've told me why it's so beneficial, but this is something that people need to kind of realize, that this is an option for them.
Right. Well, weedy is a polystyrene engineered backer board that's used behind tile. And because we're licensed for the product and for the installation of it, once we're done putting that in your shower area and we're completed and sealed as per the manufacturer's specification, we can offer you a 15-year warranty against leakage beyond, as far as that panel. So the blessing there is peace of mind. It's peace of mind on our end, but also peace of mind for the homeowner. The worst thing you can get is, whether or not it's 1 hour past the time you were done or 1 year, is my shower's leaking. And, I don't want to get that call. And you don't want to get that call, so sometimes, give an example in reference to a roof. Proper ice and water shield that sits underneath the roof tiles is essential to make sure if there's any breakage in the tiles themselves in the roof that it won't penetrate beyond the ice and water shield as far as on the roof, and then cause extensive damage within the home. So when we look at a bathroom, we're looking at the same thing. Let's solve the problem before it becomes a problem. That's, so it's just, to me, it's just common sense. It adds to the cost if you're thinking about it, but the long term is where the benefit is. So doing it right the first time is paramount. I would rather walk away from a job than to shortchange the customer in terms of the quality of workmanship and materials that went into that project.
And they were great for like for someone that's new with Weedy. Like they came down here at ProSol and they provided like a training to everyone, whether you were new or experienced. And for someone like me who's completely new, like I was able to see the installation process from start to finish. So even like being, like I said, someone new, just learning this technology, like I already have a better idea of how this product works than most, just because of the support and the training that those guys provide. So like very, very professional, that's for sure.
And I'm excited because once we get this installed in our project and we're moving along, I know your guys were out last night or yesterday breaking the concrete so we could get the piping in, and we posted some of that on our social media for people to see too. I'm excited to showcase what Weedy is and talk to some of the Weedy reps too on our social media pages over the next little bit. And I think it's going to be really beneficial for people going through the reno process and contacting you guys to get it done and get it done right the first time. One thing that I wanted to talk to.
Yeah, that's our intention is to make more people, including contractors, aware of the benefits of the product. It's sold, through us as a sole dealer here in Windsor. And so if anybody's interested, we'd be happy to answer any questions or set them up directly with Weedy for, all that expertise that they need to know and provide as far as for their contractor or for the do-it-yourselfer.
And then, see, this is why I told you guys you're going to be doing the show a lot, because we're almost running out of time. It goes by so quick.
Thank you.
Everyone's like, oh my God. But I wanted to give a plug to American Standard too. I know you carry, this is something that you are extremely passionate about, and it's a name brand. It's like the Coca-Cola of bathroom.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. That is actually pretty accurate. Yeah. I would say. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, American Standard's been great. We have a great rep down here. His name's Frank Sparks. Once again, someone being new in the industry, he's the reason why we're this far with the product. Like he has gone above and beyond with the training, providing all sorts of forms of training for us. He's come down on multiple occasions, and just the support that he's given us has been unreal. So they are really a product that we can't, suggest more.
Yeah, we carry multiple lines and multiple Canadian lines, but as a primary North American product, American Standard is our go-to for China products, sinks, faucets, those types of things, among other products. But they've been really good to us, and by supporting us and thus us supporting them. So it's a good relationship.
I'm excited because I think that's going to be a fun component for folks who not only listen and watch the show after the fact, but get involved with the process from start to finish. Is that we'll kind of walk through people through the process with American Standard too. We'll do some fun selections and then kind of go from there with some voting online too, which people love to be involved in too. So one last thing, and I'm going to have you guys on frequently as we continue through this project and into the future too. Richard, if somebody is looking, you go into a shop or you go into a store and you kind of look around and you're like, okay, I may have questions, I might have answers. Tell me about the benefits, in your opinion, of having somebody who really is sort of like your neighborhood bathroom reno guy, right? Like it's like somebody that like I know you do a ton of stuff in the community. You've done things through the musical scene through the years too. What does that mean to you to be involved in and use that sort of leverage to, let people know that I'm your guy to use?
Yeah, I'm a real people person in the sense that, I like to maintain and develop relationships. And that's the most important thing. So you mentioned about, myself replying to you at 8:00 on a Sunday night. I've been married for, close to, say 38 years now. And my wife understands the business. And the only time, I'm not answering my phone is when we're having dinner together. And that's our private time. Other than that, she understands that customer service is paramount. And that's important in a relationship as well. And again, with Jeremy, throughout all his years, we've always been close with together. And hockey, I was Jacques Hebert, the greatest hockey player of all time. And we played hockey, broke a lot of windows downstairs as far as together, biked, camped, and now in business. And people ask what it's like, and I'm like, I feel blessed. I really do. I think there's a future for our business, but there's a long future for Jeremy. And I'm cutting that learning time down by mentoring him, and seeing the jobs, taking the jobs from start to finish that we're working on, planning on, learning about products, learning about, attitudes is longitude, right? So I feel real blessed. I really do.
Thanks to my guest, and thank you for watching and listening to this video podcast. If you'd like to be a guest on Arms Bumanlag Ask the Expert, make sure to check out my website today.